you so much for the very warm welcome. Truly honored to be here. Good morning, Jumbo, Goeiemorgen, Bonjour, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Roshana Cole. I'm a mother of three beautiful children. I've been married for 25 years, and currently I'm a senior operations manager for AWS Support Engineering, managing engineers, a team of engineers of 126 based out in South Africa, Cape Town. I'm born and I'm bred in Cape Town. So I've just been thinking, I sat this morning and I'm thinking about just reminiscing on the last 2 days. And it's been an amazing 2 days, hasn't it? It's been an amazing 2 days for Africa to be part of this content. And I generally associate feelings or emotion with a song. It's who I am, it's what I do. So I'm going to I'm going to ask everybody if you can stand up. It's only going to be 30 seconds. If you can just stand up, and you'll soon find out why. So this is what I've been thinking of, and this is what has been going through as I've been reflecting on the last 2 days. So I'm going to play a clip. It'll be a very short clip, but focus on the words.
You're a good soldier, choosing your battle. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it. Believe it when you get up, when you get up, cause this is Africa. This time for Africa.
Do we all feel that? It is. It is time for Africa. This is the continent to be on. So I thought I was going to sing that. I wasn't going to put you through that, don't worry. So I will stick to the topic at hand. And the topic I'm going to speak about is from the back end to the boardroom. And it sounds like a catchy phrase. It's not really about just being a catchy phrase, it's a reality. And it's my reality. It's my story, and it's most likely yours too. So at Amazon, we believe that leadership. Oh, sorry. Yes, you can sit down. There we go. Initiative in the room. So you can see I'm not the tallest. I've actually got some heels on today. So I just loved everybody being on the same level like me for the first time. So let me continue. So at Amazon, we believe that everyone is a leader. Everybody is a leader. Leadership isn't about titles. It isn't about where you sit. It's about the impact. It's about the impact that you have in the workplace and the impact that you have on others. So I've spent 27 years in the oil industry, in the IT industry. 18 was in the oil industry on a refinery. And the last 4.5 years was spent in support engineering at AWS. So today I'm going to be speaking about transforming leadership in tech, focusing on inclusion and results. But before I go there, I'm going to go back. Okay, maybe a little way back. So long before that I've been part of the boardroom strategy sessions, I was a young woman, excited. I was small, I was petite. I was going to start this career in tech. I was ready to take this task on. And I started a role, and it was part of a job shadow role, yes, but I was in networking, and I was the first female in networking. Very excited. But however, in that role, I was asked to stay under the floor. Not metaphorically, literally. I was literally told to run cables, crawl beneath the floorboards, label cabinets, and most probably because I was small or so, that's what I thought, right? Made sense, not a big issue. But no, that was going to keep me busy, kept me real busy, and it's going to keep me out of the way of the real work. But you know what? I did it, and I did it with pride. I labeled those cabinets. They were color coded. It was the best that you have ever seen. And I became the cabinet labeler though going forward. But I was proud of what I was doing. And 2 years on in the role, I got appointed into a management position. Wow, what an achievement, right? That was a moment for me to be celebrating, a moment of celebration. I thought this is success. And it wasn't before long I started hearing the whispers in the corridors. People were talking, and I heard they said, she is a diversity hire. She is here for window dressing. Not because I wasn't capable, but because I was a woman. And I started to doubt my capability. Is there truth in this? Am I really just here to meet a quota? That made me think a lot about my decisions. However, once again, not new to me or anybody else, and being a female in this room today, I had to prove that I belong. I had to prove myself, and I was going to do this. But things didn't go as planned because I lost myself in the process. I lost myself in the process. I became one of the guys because I felt that was the only way to be accepted. It was just me. And I started, you know, rolling with the punches. I could take it, whatever it is. I never got offended. You can come at me with any. That was who I became. I became hard. I even delayed having children, not because I didn't want to be a mother, but because I didn't want to come across as not committed in the industry. I didn't want to lose out on opportunities. I felt I needed to choose. I needed to make a choice. And I made a choice. I chose my career. 5 years into marriage, the pressure was now building up, right? Family pressures. Cultural narrative that says I should be at home cooking, cleaning, and raising kids. Some even thought I was defective because I didn't have kids. Something's wrong. Intervention is needed here. This one is going off the rails. And then I found out I was pregnant. Not just pregnant. Look, I've always been a bit of an overachiever, I'll admit that. But I was pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. And I was, wow, this should make up for the defective years, right? This is a good thing. I was like, I did this. I was proud. And I got told, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. And I've got this. Don't worry, I've got this. I'm not sick. I do not have a disease. I'm pregnant. And so I refused to slow down. I was then rushed into hospital. My membranes ruptured. My daughter didn't survive. My son was born at 26 weeks. It spent months in ICU fighting for his life. That was the most painful, transformative, and traumatic experiences of my life because I felt I did this. I felt responsible. And that is what I thought pain was about. Until 2 weeks ago, 14 days, today marks 14 days, my father passed. May the Almighty be pleased with him. My father passed. My first advocate, my ally, my fiercest supporter, the man who never let anyone believed his daughter didn't belong in tech because of a gender, I wouldn't be where I am today if it was not for the Almighty and for my dad. And I wouldn't be on the stage today if it wasn't for my dad. Because even from the grave, he was motivating me, pushing me, inspiring me when I felt my world was coming down. And I must say this, contrary to the popular belief, women in tech are empowered by other women. It was a great man who paved the way for me, who never let me give up on my goals, dreams, and my visions, even though it was tempting. Many a times I was about to throw in the towel. And that legacy continues. My husband, just like my father, has been my torchbearer, still is, supports me, believes me, he sees in me, despite my ambition. Not despite my ambition, sorry there, but because of my ambition. And that makes me realize every day the importance of allyship and partnership. So, yes, I stand on the shoulders of giants, not just one. My mother's in the tech industry as well, still is today. She taught me women in tech isn't just an anomaly, it's a legacy. So, while my father challenged the world to make sure that there was a space for his daughter, my mother showed me how to occupy that space with patience, resilience, discipline, and brilliance. So, you might be wondering, why am I telling you all of this today? Is it the emotional woman in me coming out? No, absolutely not. It's not emotion, not any longer. It's purpose now. Because every woman in tech has a story of resilience, patience, strength, sacrifice, and often silence. So, yes, we start in the back end, but just not of systems, of conversations, decisions, and opportunity. But we don't stay there. We rise. We rise. Sorry. So today I want you to reflect on, think about this. If I, who as a mother in tech, a father as a chemical engineer, views limitations on his daughter, and a husband who walks with me every step of the way, if I had to fight, if I had to sacrifice and navigate identity to fit in and to belong, then what about the women who don't have that support? What about the women with no one to advocate for them? No role models at the table, no one cheering them on, no one telling them that they belong. And that is why this conversation matters. Because talent is everywhere, but opportunity and support is not. Until they are, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to zoom a bit out because this isn't just my story, right? It's one of many. So let's just look at where we stand today. Let's look at some statistics. What are the numbers? What does this landscape look like right now? So globally, women only hold 10.9% of senior leadership roles in the industry. In Africa, 30% of the professional workforce, not leadership roles. Leadership roles remain elusive at only, in Africa, 11.8% of African tech startups has a female CEO and just 21% as a co founder. So even though these numbers highlight both the progress we have made, but also the distance that we still need to travel. So you ask the question, how do we get there? How do we go from the back end to the boardroom? So for the women out there, we tell our story. We honor our journey without apology. It was not until I started at AWS when I saw these initiatives, women programs, men as allies, inclusion ambassadors. I was, what is all of this fuss about? You're here to do a job, just do it. I didn't know why so much emphasis on these programs until I joined the session and I heard women speak. And a trigger of emotion just came across all over me. I was tingling, not because that I was proud, but I felt shame. I was ashamed. Because why? I forgot. It's been so many years. I forgot. And it's like child labor, right? The fruits of the labor is so great. You forget about the pain and the struggles. You forget. And that It's what happened to me. That made me want to get involved. I wanted to get involved with these programs. I started mentoring circles for younger women. I became intentional and I wanted to have that impact because you don't need to lead like a man to lead in tech. You don't have to harden yourself to belong. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. We are leaders because of our experiences and of who we are, not in spite of them. We stop waiting for the seat and we bring our own table. So, yes, the sticky floors, the glass ceilings, it is real. But so is our ability to build, climb, and to pull others up as we rise. So, if you find yourself on the sticky floor or trying to get that ceiling, keep going. Push yourself. Break the ceiling, shatter it, crack it. Whatever you do when you get there, make sure you leave the ladder down and redefine leadership for the next generation. So, to every woman in this room today, navigating motherhood, culture, career, and expectations, you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose because you have a right to be ambitious, to lead, to love, to raise children, and define success on your own terms. You can lead in heels or sneakers. I'm a sneakers girl. I only came with the heels because the podium yesterday was very intimidating. So you can be bold and strategic, soft, nurturing. You can build tech and you can raise a generation because you are not alone. We are not alone. And I'm going to tell you this now from personal experiences. Women, and this is my experience, the ego needs to go. There's no room for ego no longer. It's not a competition. It is not being competitive. It's not about showing a man, I can do that better. I can be better than a man. Absolutely not. Where we're at right now, it's about collaboration. It's about working together. That is the only way we are going to progress. And that moves us to my next topic, to the men in the room, our allies. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Your presence matters, but your actions matters even more. You are our colleagues, our teammates, our leaders, our decision makers. And I want to be clear, gender equity, it's not a woman issue. It's not for the woman in this room to solve. It is a leadership issue. It is a business issue. It is a human issue. And what can you do to help us on this journey? You can be an advocate in the room, especially when we're not there. Challenge assumptions, interrupt bias, move from mentorship to sponsorship. I'm not saying mentorship isn't valuable. Mentorship is valuable. Mentorship gives advice. But sponsorship is powerful. Sponsors use their influence. They put our names forward, recommend us for the high visibility projects, the strategic roles, the seat at the table, not because we are women, but because we are ready. Recognize the cost of silence. When you see inequality and you say nothing, systems remain unchanged. But when you speak up, especially when it's uncomfortable, you model the kind of culture that every high performing team needs. And lastly, lead with empathy. You may have not lived our story, but you can listen. You can ask, what do you need? You can create conditions, environments where we don't have to choose between career and family, visibility and authenticity. Because true inclusion isn't about fitting people into a broken system, it's about transforming the system and transforming the system together. So I'm going to close on this today. My name is Roshana Ko. I started my career being told to stay on the floor. Today I stand in front of you as a woman refusing to be boxed in by bias, tradition, or by fear. And I'm asking all of us, men and women, raise the ceiling, unstick the floor for those coming behind us. To the first, the onlys, and the fews, you keep going. To those who have fallen and come back stronger, you are not alone. And to every woman in this room, you are not here by accident. You are here because you earned it and the boardroom is better for it. From the back end to the boardroom, we rise together. Let's build an industry where no woman has to lose herself to be accepted, where no daughter has to prove her worth twice, and where everyone has a voice that is valued and heard, not because it fits the mold, but because it brings something bold. I thank you for the opportunity for being here today.